Hello and welcome back to my second video. This is a second introduction, a bit of an extension onto my first video, which I released almost 2 months ago, which I'm very sorry about how long it's taken for me to get this video out. I've had so much going on in the past couple of months that I just had no time to make a video. I went to Germany and I actually explored Glashütte, so I can show some pictures now. And then uni started. I've had classes and work being handed out. I've had so much to do, so I've set aside some time today and I'm gonna have this video out by the end of today. So in this video I wanted to basically talk about my top 5 favorite watches to give you guys a bit of an extra look into how I see the watch industry and what I look for, what I like to pick out, and what really shines in my eyes. So I really, especially when I was making this list, I realized I tend towards more to German watchmaking over Swiss, but I still love Swiss watchmaking. I think there's just something about German watches that appeal to me a little bit more. And I also tend towards a more of a classic styling, so like leather bracelet and like a rose gold case. So that sort of classy styling, it really brings me on to the number 5 on my list, which is the Glashütte Original Panomatic Lunar Reference 1-90-02-13-32-62. I did not memorize that reference, of course. So that is it's the green dial Panomatic Lunar. It's with the leather bracelet, and it is just a beautiful watch. It is really beautiful with it has a perfect case back into a view into the watch's movement, which is the caliber 90-02, which is a fantastically finished watch in everything you would expect from something coming out of Glashütte. It has the balance wheel sits on one of the most beautiful displays. It is just fantastic. So that is really a perfect watch, and I feel it can be well worn with something casual like a t-shirt and jeans, but it could also be dressed up with a suit or even like a shirt and chinos. It just is a really versatile piece, and I think it is well deserving of being on my number 5. The only downside I'd really say with the watch is the fact that it has a 42-hour power reserve, but I believe that a power reserve is not really a big indicator of how a watch functions and how you get use out of a watch, because for example, I have a Seiko SSK 023, I believe it is, and this just here actually. So this one, and this watch is wildly inaccurate. I can't get it to focus, but this watch is wildly inaccurate. It runs maybe like 5 minutes ahead in like 3 days. So I'm not sure if I probably have to get it serviced, but to be honest, I got it secondhand for like £200, so I'm not gonna spend £200 getting it serviced. I'll just leave it. And as well, I quite enjoy it. I quite enjoy the fact that it goes ahead because I'm constantly playing with it. I'll be waiting for the bus, or I'll be standing in a line, and I'll take my watch off and I'll fiddle with it, and I'll enjoy just switching the time. So honestly, I think a power reserve is no indicator of whether or not you'll get enjoyment out of your watch. So I think this watch summed up is just it's a perfect watch that could be used casually. It could be dressed up. It has one of the most beautiful finishing, probably the best finishing on a watch under 10,000. I think it's something like £9,200 or something. I need to double check that, but it is honestly just a fantastic piece and well deserving of being number 5. So moving on to number 4, we have a bit of an interesting one for for me, because like earlier I was saying, I prefer more of a classy styling with maybe a bit of a twist, or just a classic rose gold, but I'm moving away from that and going to Rolex. So number 4 for me is the Rolex GMT Master 2, the 126-710 BLRO, or the Pepsi as it's well known, and it's the Pepsi with the Jubilee bracelet. And I really think this watch is just it's a hype watch. It is, but hype is something that can definitely turn me away from a watch. I've never really been a huge fan of something that's super popular. So for example, I love something like a 5711 Nautilus, like the blue dial, or like a standard blue dial Royal OKP, but it turns me away a little bit, when a watch is just surrounded by hype. And I'd say the Rolex Pepsi is no exception to that. I mean, it's definitely one of the most hyped up watches that we have, but I saw this in person when maybe about 6 months ago. I first saw it in person and I got to try it on, and it was just such an amazing watch to wear. It really showed why it has the hype it has, because the clasp, the bracelet, it was all just so well finished, and it was just such a good watch that you could wear every day. And Rolex, they are some of the best watches that you can buy. That the movement is just fantastic. They'll never go wrong. But the GMT Master 2 really does sit with me as a bit of a weird one, but a one that I just genuinely love a lot. So I put it in number 4, and I think that's a pretty good spot for it to be at. But that is probably one of the only ones in my list, which is sort of like a hype watch. But yeah, so moving on to number 3, I have one of my all-time favorites, which is the JLC Master Ultra Thin Perpetual calendar in black. You might know it because it was featured in Doctor Strange. He wore it on his wrist when he crashed his car, and he wore it throughout the movie, but that's the white dial one. The one I like is the black dial, and it's the reference Q1308470. Again, did not memorize it, just got a list of things that I need to remember just below. So I think JLC is a really quite an interesting brand, because if you know a bit about their history, they're well known to be also known as the watchmaker's watchmaker, because they made movements for brands like Vacheron Constantin and Patek Philippe, and they made some of the most complicated, the most high-end luxury movements of all time. And now obviously something like Patek Philippe or Vacheron have moved on to making their own movements, or so this watch, in my opinion, is just a perfect for someone who loves the history of horology and what lies below the surface of a watch. Because, for example, like what I was saying with the 5711, you could get 5711. Everyone knows what 5711 is. Like, no one's gonna bat an eye when they see you wearing a 5711. They're gonna say, "Wow, that's a Patek Philippe." But you go beneath it, and it is standard. It's just minutes, seconds, hours, really, date, wheel. But when you look at something like JLC and the Master Ultra Thin Perpetual calendar, you've got a watch that can track the minutes, seconds, hours, of course, but also the date, the day date, the month, the year, and the moon phase, all with 336 pieces and within about 9 millimeters, I think it is. It's just absolutely insane to me. So I truly feel that I think the JLC Master Ultra Thin Perpetual is the pinnacle of what I would think is innovation in the world of horology, because it is taking such a complex idea and just packing it into 9 millimeters. It is, like I said, it's just absolutely insane. And I think there are definitely more complex pieces in JLC's portfolio, but if you're going to something like a tourbillon or something like that, it's just it's not as flashy. It's it's classic, it's simple, but it's complex. Well, if you move towards something like Vacheron, you get some of their ultra complex models, like they released earlier. They released a watch early in the year that I think had 52 complications, and that is amazing. Something like that is just unbelievable. But when you're looking for a watch that I would personally buy, I would definitely move to something like the Master Ultra Thin, because even if it's not to the point where it's telling you something like, I don't know, when McDonald's are going to bring back the McRib or something, it's simple, but it's complex. It's JLC really. So I think it's well deserving of being in number 3 as well. But in number 2, we're moving back to Germany, to a watch similar in nature to number 5, with the A. Lange Söhne Lange 1 Moon Phase reference 192.032, which is a watch I had the pleasure of seeing when I went to Germany just last month. I was on the Kurfürstendamm, which is the humongous retail street just right in the center, or slightly south of the Tiergarten or the zoo, and I was able to go into the Lange Söhne boutique, where the staff were so lovely. I was going in wearing my Seiko, I'm wearing a Seiko and trainers, and they were happy to bring out the watches, let me pick them up, let me see them. I have a couple pictures I'll show her now, and it was just the most beautiful watch. It was the exact one I wanted to see as well. I asked if I could take a look at it, and they were more than happy to show me it. It is a fantastic watch. It's quite heavy. It is, with as well being 18 karat gold, I believe. It is just it's a heavy watch, but it is so beautiful, and I got told all about the history about it as well. So I believe it was released in 1994. And it was, I believe it wasn't the most, it was quite a jump from style as well, with the smaller dials, so people tended to not like it, but as well now it is just jumped to being such a popular watch because of how beautiful it is. And the dials, they work in, so the dials are in a perfect triangle with each other, so it is honestly, when I got to see it in person, I knew I liked the watch, but when I got to see it in person, it just blew my mind. It was just such a beautiful watch, and the case back as well, the movement was unbelievable. You have something like Glashütte original, which is a fantastically finished watch, and then but they are just, and it's just A. Lange and Söhne, it is just, oh my god, I was just blown away. And I went there with my girlfriend, and she was just like, wow, that's a beautiful watch. And she doesn't really, and she's not so into watches, but I'm always talking her ear off, so she was blown away as well. And I really think that will be in my collection one day, but not anytime soon. It will be in it one day. So I'm well deserving of number 2. Just an absolutely fantastic watch, and just one of the most beautiful pieces of art I've ever seen in my entire life. So now we're going to move on to my number 1 slot. So that is my holy grail, the watch I dream to get one day, my ultimate, penultimate. If I get this watch, my collection will probably be finished, and that is the Grünewald 1941 Remontoir Constant Force. This is a watch which is just unbelievable to just take in, to see it in. I've never had the pleasure of seeing it in person, but even in videos and in pictures, it is just unreal how amazing it looks. The movement is inside is the caliber G-05. It's an 8-second remontoir, and it's just beautiful. The case back is unlike anything else in the watch industry. I really think it's a one of a kind. If you don't know Grünewald, they're actually a brand who are owned by 2 brothers called the Horological Brothers, and sorry, and they are they're based in the Netherlands, and they started their company in 2008, I believe, with a GMT tourbillon. They really specialize in making just top level watches, just unbelievable. And I believe they've won a number of awards as well. So Grunewald really have a presence in the industry, and they're just like, the way they make watches is just unbelievable. So the 1941 is just the Remontoir, absolutely deserving of first place. It is just a watch that I will forever have as the watch that I hope to one day have. So I really think that's what the number one slot is about, is just that watch that you hope to get one day, even if it's going to take you 40 years. So I think that's all for this video. Thank you so much for watching. I know my skill on camera is not the best. I'm still trying to improve it. So we'll just I'm going to try and get a video out in the next couple of weeks as well. Seeing if uni's getting a bit too hectic, then maybe it'll be a little bit later. But I think the next one I'm going to try and upload, I'm going to try and make a tier list in the style of some other YouTubers have made tier lists as well. So I'll probably try and do one like that, so then as well, again, you can get more of an idea of how I see the watch industry. I also have an idea. I think I'm going to try and start a series where I'm going to just explain different complications, because I've been researching them a lot, and so I'll probably go more into the Remontoir, like the Grunewald, a little bit more in detail in that series. So thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye.